All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos, and I work as a software developer for Container Solutions. And today I want to talk to you guys about going from development to production in 5 minutes, or the glory CI/CD pipeline that everybody's talking about. Before we start off, I would like to say a couple of things about myself, rather quick. I'm originally from Colombia. I've been living in the Netherlands for about 2 years and a little bit more. I work as a software developer for Container Solutions, and I help our customers in smooth transitions from premise to the cloud and vice versa. So if people want to, their stuff they want to move into the cloud, I will help them with whatever programmable infrastructure challenges they're facing so that their transition is as smooth as possible. So a couple of pre-flight checks. I need to know that you guys know what computers are. So do we have anybody that has no technical background whatsoever in the crowd? You're fired. Yeah, so we have 2 people, okay. So does anybody not know what virtualization is? Okay, cool. Container technologies, Docker, Rocket, LXC, whatever. Yeah, CI/CD. Okay, cool. I have higher expectations. My expectations are really high because this is cd.amsterdam, so I expect you guys to know all about it. Programmable infrastructure. Yeah, nice. Okay, so Storytime. I would like to begin by telling you guys the story of Jimmy. Jimmy is a programmer that lives in Amsterdam. He wakes up in the morning and he has a certain bunch of features that he wants to deliver this week. And he submitted a pull request on Friday, and his colleagues reviewed the pull request. And now the pull request has been approved. And so now it's Monday around 11 a.m. He already has his coffee. He's ready to rock the world. So he hits the merge button, and then his code gets merged into master. This code is being pushed into the main repository. It's being picked up by a certain entity that is going to take the code, and it's going to probe that the code is actually high quality shit. And it's also going to unit test the code to make sure that nothing broke. It's going to take all these units, it's going to put them together, and it's going to make sure that as a whole, the integration of these units are also working as expected, as the business is expecting it to work. And then this code is becoming a deployable unit that another robot takes and puts it into production very smoothly. So all that Jimmy had to do was to hit the merge button and nothing else. So that's, if you think about all the processes that are going on in between, he saved himself quite a lot of time. Now this story is not really new to you guys. Who is the first time that they hear a story something like this? The CI/CD automated pipeline. So you guys have heard about it. Cool, yeah, I didn't expect otherwise. So you guys know this story by heart already. What is more, not only you know the story, you also understand it. You understand why this is a good idea, not only for you as a developer, but also as a company, right? You understand what are the business benefits, why reacting to the market in 5 to 10 minutes is better than reacting to the market in 6 months, right? Because that's what we're seeing right now, that there is a lot of companies that they want to call themselves innovative and they want to call themselves agile, yet their release process takes between 3 to 6 months to release one fucking bug fix. So the system is broken, and somehow you know it, but your colleagues don't. Somehow they didn't do their homework, right? They're like, yeah, I mean, this continuous delivery stuff, I don't think it's like really this Jenkins sucks, GitHub is too public, Docker is not ready for production, blah, 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 blah. But you have been reading Hacker News, you have been keeping up to date with Reddit, you've been going to conferences, you go to meetups, and you know that this is actually not bullshit, you know that this is a story of success. You know that many companies are benefiting from this, yet somehow your colleagues still don't see that shit, right? How many of you guys are just software developers within your companies? DevOps engineers? Decision makers like managers, product owners, CTOs. Okay, nice. All right, cool. So I want to tell you guys now the real story. We go to this customer one day, the CTO says, you know what guys, I'm sick and tired of this whole super long, boring, stupid, and just lame system where we make a feature request and it takes 6 months to deploy. This is unacceptable. And this customer is a payment gateway, a major payment gateway for Eastern Europe and now for South Africa and Latin American countries. For NDA reasons, I cannot disclose their names or specifics of what we did with them, but the thing is that he comes one day and says, okay guys, you know what? He gathers management and he says, we're going to start doing CI/CD from now on. And the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to reduce our sprint time from 3 weeks into 2 weeks. So then we are going to be more snappy, we're going to be more fast, we're going to be super responsive, and we're going to be up to date with the market. Of course, managers, they want to keep happy. The CTO is the owner of the company, he's a very powerful man, but also he has a lot of credibility between management because he's a smart guy. He has a lot of vision, he has a way of seeing somehow into the future, and he always nails it. So they say, okay, he wants CI/CD with programmable infrastructure and Docker containers, he might be right. So let's try to make that happen. So I took this from Wikipedia. The definition of strategy comes from Greek. Anybody knows how to read Greek? Strategia. Nice, great. So it says, it is a high-level plan to achieve goals under conditions of uncertainty. And I want you guys to pay special attention to uncertainty because this is what comes with change. And when you're going to apply a strategy, it's because something is about to change, right? And there is a lot of unknown variables that you don't really know how they're going to play out. You can try to play God a little bit and try to predict what is going to happen and think about all the different scenarios that might come, but in reality, in the end, you cannot really know for sure how everything is going to play out. So they gather together and they say, okay, our strategy, management, they say, our strategy is to create a DevOps team, containerize every single application that we have in the corporation, have the DevOps teams to create a CI/CD pipeline for all the applications, have them to create a programmable infrastructure, right, so that they can dynamically scale up and down the whole infrastructure, deploy all the applications in the new infrastructure, and profit. So let's analyze this strategy just real quick. The good thing about this strategy is profit, right? This is always good. You always want the company to be profitable. As a software developer, as an operator, as a manager, as a CEO, you want the company to be healthy money-wise, right? Because then that is guaranteed that you're going to have a job in the future, correct? The other thing is that they wanted to create a DevOps team. How many of you guys are not familiar with DevOps? The DevOps culture, the knowledge sharing shit, and all the 7 principles that we talked about before, right? So this is also a good part of their strategy when they came up with it. Containerize every single application. Hey, yeah, everything running in containers is great. You know how easy it is to deploy the stuff. Have the DevOps teams create a CI/CD pipeline for every single application. Man, if I can merge everything in something and then it gets automatically deployed, I want that. So that is also a good part of their strategy. Have the DevOps team to create programmable infrastructure, deploy all the applications there. Now, the bad thing about this is that they wanted to containerize every single application. They wanted also to have a CI/CD pipeline for all of the applications, have the team to create a programmable infrastructure, deploy the new applications in infrastructure. So, as you can see, they wanted to do too many things at the same time, right? They're trying to do DevOps, they're trying to do CI/CD, they're trying to do programmable infrastructure. These 3 things, isolated, they're huge projects themselves. So making all this shit happen in one single project, in one meta project, is just too ambitious. Being ambitious is good, but in this very scenario, in this scope, it's just too much. It's formula for failure. So, we go and say, guys, you know what? My diagnosis is that you have myopia, right? Shortsightedness. If I take off my glasses, I cannot see, far from my hand is already blurry, right? So our customer, because they lacked the experience, they lacked the expertise, they could not see that far ahead or just really close, they were going to fuck it up. They were going to hit a wall and they couldn't see it because they had short-sightedness. So all this scope, so big, so ambitious, it was a formula for failure. Something that they also failed to see in short term was that change is difficult. Change doesn't happen overnight. Change is unpopular. Change is unknown. Change is challenging, uncertain, and it creates all sorts of negative emotions in people because we as humans, as our nature, we reject change. It makes us feel insecure. It makes us feel like, I don't have this security that I had before, and now I need to face all these challenges, right? So it is not easy, and they failed at seeing that. But what is even worse is that they failed at seeing that cultural changes are even more hard. Why? Have you ever thought, how many non-Dutch people do we have here? Raise your hands if you're not Dutch. So Russian, we have Turkey. Latvian. French, alright? Okay, this is good. Sorry, where? Indonesian, okay. So I make a remark about the Italian because I want to make an example about the Mediterranean culture and the Hispanic culture. Me being the Colombian that I am, and you being the Mediterranean that you are, you probably are late as fuck pretty much always. Maybe not anymore because now you live from whatever. Maybe you come from Milano, people are really super strict, whatever. Say what?
From the south.
From the south. You probably are late all the time. Don't try to bullshit me here, bro.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, there you go. I'm also late all the time. But the thing is that we come from different cultures, right? We come from a culture where being on time is not strictly important. For us, it's more important the meeting that is about to happen, right? It's not like, oh, you were not here on 7:15. It's like, oh, whatever. What is the time now? We were supposed to meet at 7, but now it's 8. It's like, this motherfucker. If it is 9 and he has not arrived, then we live. We gave him 2 hours, you know, like, that is our slack. Because for us, it's not about being on time, it's about the time that we're gonna have together. We're gonna sit down, have some beers, share, you know, talk about your mom, talk about my mom, you know, like, stuff like that. But for you, for the Western European man, time is something more of, you be on time because you want to show respect, you want to show that you have your shit together, right? So if you as a Western European person move into Latin America or to the south of Italy, then you're going to be in trouble because you're going to be on time and people are not going to be on time and they will not understand you. Then it's you who have to shift your mentality to understand why time is not such a big deal there. If you as a Hispanic person like I am, or as a Southern Italian, you move to the Netherlands and then you're 10 minutes late and people are giving you shit, it's like, chill the fuck down, it's just 10 minutes. You're exactly 10 minutes. And you know, it's just a one little thing, right? We're just talking about the time. Now, think that tomorrow somebody tells you, hey, you know what, the way that you're developing software that you've been doing for the last 15, 20 years, not anymore. The way that you're communicating with your team, well, not anymore. The way that you are deploying to production, well, you're not gonna do that anymore. Actually, I'm going to give you responsibility for production, but the code is going to be deployed automatically. Everybody's going to be losing their shit. Like, what are you talking about? You cannot do that, you know? And then, because the change is coming from management, people are going to think that it is yet another management bullshit, that management is trying to push down your throat, you know? It's like, it is Docker, or it is CI/CD, Jenkins, and GitHub, and whatever. That is cool, right? Because we've read about it. But what if tomorrow management says, okay, you know what, tomorrow we're going to ditch Postgres and we're going to use SAP. Tomorrow we're going to use Oracle. Fuck no! I mean, I'm open-minded, but if tomorrow my manager comes and says we're going to use SAP, I'm going to give them shit. Because I am afraid that I'm going to hate SAP. I don't use it yet, and I hate it already. I don't use Oracle yet, and I hate that shit already. Right? So, cultural change is really, really hard, and our customer was failing to see that. So, we go there, and we see all these problems, right? They're facing technical problems, but they're also facing cultural problems. So we think, how can we make this happen? And with the help of Mark Heistek, who had already the experience of helping ING, which is like a big corporate institution, right? So you can think of it like a really heavy car that you want to steer, right? If you have a little car and you want to steer, you go to the right, you go to the left, it's very easy. But big corporations like ING, like Oracle itself, like Microsoft, it's really, really hard to steer them. So we thought, we need to think of something really simple that is going to help them move faster and to prove that they can actually migrate from waterfall and from an old way of working into a modern way of working. And so what we say is, okay, you first need to build the right team. And by this, I mean, you know, there's people in your company that are always open-minded, right? They're always going to conferences, coming to the meetups, reading Reddit, reading Hacker News, you know. There's a new tool, they play around with it a little bit. not because they want to be experts in the matter, but because they want to be up to date. You know, I don't know if you guys do that. I tend to do that sometimes. Sometimes more often when I have a lot of spare time. Now I have a girlfriend, I don't get to do shit, but that kind of stuff. So you take these people from your company that have always had the interest to learn and to become better professionals, and you build a meta team. This is the team that is going to take a flag project. So you need to choose the right project. And with this small little project that you can play around with, right? Like if there's the need to refactor it from the ground up, or if there is a need to change the way that it works, or you know, introduce a new component kind of thing, something that is really, really manageable to work with, then you choose that project. And then you need to embrace failure, because in the very beginning, things might work out, but things might not work out, right? You're going to give it a try to Docker, for example, or not even to Docker, you're going to try to automate the deployment process, right? You already have a Jenkins and whatever, but automatic continuous deployment has never been experimented with in the company. So you want to do that. You don't do the continuous deployment, and then you do the Docker, and then you do the orchestration, and then you do the monitoring, one thing at a time. Baby steps. But you embrace failure, right? Because it might be that in the first iteration, it doesn't work, nor in the second, nor in the third, and it might be that 3 months ahead, and nothing is still working, but you need to keep going. What's up?
Okay, so take for example, I can imagine a use case where if you work for like 2 months on a project with a team of, let's say, 8 people, you don't do unit tests, you don't refactor on time, you don't abstract properly, and then you come in to like tell them how it's done. There's got to be major issues. Like, how do you resolve that after a couple months of work?
I'm gonna get there in a second, because what you're talking about is a clear position of the anger engineer. Is an archetype of the strategist. Mm-hmm. That means that you have the knowledge, and you have the vision, and you have the understanding of reality on what is going on and what is good for the team, which is TDD, BDD, continuous shit, right? But people don't listen to you, because either you don't have the credibility because they're assholes, or because you don't have the skills.
You're in deep trouble.
Exactly. So the way to go around it, or if we follow your example, that I come in and I'm going to face a little. Of course, I'm going to face a little troubles.
They're not going to like
it. Yes, correct. But the difference is that I come there as a consultant, and as a consultant, I have a certain power that is implicit. Oh, he's a consultant, he must know. And so you go and you tell them, as a consultant, you go and you tell customers shit that they already know. They have been hearing it from you all the time for a year. And then you say, oh, you're not doing TDD? Well, the first thing is you need to do the TDD. Then I guess we need to do TDD. And you're gonna be like, I've been saying that shit for the whole fucking year, and you never listen to me. But the thing is that, as a consultant, they hire you and they expect you to be God. And so you go there with your godly whatever, and do TDD, and people are like, TDD, wow, I hadn't really thought about it before, yes. And then you're like, okay, whatever, I thought about it like a year ago. Yeah, whatever, shut up, you don't know nothing. So it is a little bit tricky. I already mentioned small iterations, right? Keep it simple, baby steps. Be ready for the inception. As I was saying before, when the change is being proposed from management, then you feel like they're pushing shit down your throat, and it's not nice. But if you take this team, let's call it the elite team, the lead hackers, and they start building the stuff, they start doing stuff in an agile way, Scrum or Kanban, whatever they want to do, and they have everything automated, and they are releasing super fast, and they're being super efficient. Then people that were first resisting the change, or were not even involved in the very beginning, they're gonna go say, hey guys, what are you working on? Yeah, we've been doing this stuff, so check it out. I'm gonna merge here, and then it's gonna be automatically deployed to production. Wow, that is pretty dope, I want that, right? And so then it's gonna be very infectious. People are going to be super curious, and they wanna do that themselves. Then you know that you nail that shit, because the change is being driven from within, right? Like inception. Then it's not you anymore as management, or not more you as the anger engineer, but it's themselves. It's like, we want this. And then, I think that you can call it a
Is that a show of like a demo project?
I said it was a good idea all along. I said it was a good idea all along.
Yeah, well, it's better to have like something already working and then show it to them, rather than trying to like pull up a flag. And like,
the thing is that for that to succeed, you need friends in the company, and you need friends in the right place. That is, you need friends in management. if you come with a demo to the people, they say, yeah, I'll do this and that. But if people don't have the credibility, they say, yeah, well, man, that is Mark's idea and it's super beautiful, but we're never gonna do that. No, why not? Yeah, because there is no priority, there is no clear whatever expectations, and we're working on this stuff and whatever. But if you have the right friends in management, or if you have the charm to make people understand and to make people care about this, then you might have a formula for success. And the last thing is, you should seek professional help. This is my friends keep telling me this. I don't really get why. I just put it here because they tell no. I'm kidding. If you're building the foundation of something that might be the example for your whole company to then use and to keep following, right? You're creating this flag project, and once it is solid and working beautifully, people are going to use it as a reference. And if you build something that is working but it's crappy, people are going to copy that, and then it's going to, spread all over, and then it's going to be a big mess. So when you're coming up with something, make sure that to validate the idea, you validate it with someone that has the expertise, so that they can tell you, hey, what you did there, that is great. What you're doing here, not really, because I've seen other customers doing this and that, and they hit this wall and they hit that wall. So you better take a step back and go this way. Right? So it's important that when you're building the foundation of your whatever you're doing in your company, that you seek for help. Maybe if you don't have the economical resources to seek for help, ask friends, go to meetups, go to conferences, and ask questions. Be curious. And one last thing that I want to talk about then is about leadership. How many of you guys have a leadership role in your company? No? Yeah, the CEO, the manager, whatever. If you're a developer and you think that you're not a leader, you're wrong, and I'm gonna explain why. So we go to these different customers that are trying to do stuff, and we realize that from all levels of the corporation, there are leaders. Developers that are sitting in the dark, right? Developers are very socially awkward. I'm a developer myself, so I can speak freely about developers. I'm a developer myself. So they're sitting awkwardly behind their computer, and they're drinking beer, drinking coffee, and they don't talk. And it's like when women approach them, it's like, hey, Carlos, do you have those reports? It's really awkward. But it could be that behind that socially awkward person, there's a big leader, because what we think is a good leader is someone that is a strategist, is someone that has an understanding of reality. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Is someone that has the empathy to talk to people and has the voice. They communicate ideas, and they know how to make people understand and make people care about the idea. Why? This continuous delivery you're talking about. Why should I care? Right? This is a person that has not only the technical skills, but also the social skills to communicate the idea and have the idea land. The person has also imagination and has a vision. And the imagination can come from self-inspiration, or it can come from inspiration by going to conferences, by going to the beach, spending some nice time in summer holidays, whatever. So someone that has all these qualities is a really good leader, is a strategist that can drive change within the company. But in reality, we don't see this very often in just one single person. What we see more often though is, for example, the projectionist can be someone that is either going through depression or rough patch after separation, losing a love member, or maybe they're just being fucked up for many years and they never seek help for that. And so this person creates a reality and imposes needs in the company. The problem is that this person also has the charisma, the voice, the imagination, the vision, and so people will listen to them, and what is worse, people will follow them. So it looks like a leader, it feels like a leader, it smells like a leader, but where is this leader leading people towards, right? Is it a true reality, or is it something that they're imagining, oh, we need to do, okay, again, SAP because whatever, and then people say, oh, actually, I don't really understand what he's doing, but he must be right. And so people follow them, but in reality, it might be not really a good idea. So you need to be careful about this in your company. Then we have the angry engineer. Coming back to you, you might have the understanding of reality, okay, manually deploying shit to production is not really good because A, B, and C, and you have your strong arguments, you understand it. You have the imagination and you have the vision. Again, you've been spending a lot of time with computers, you've been reading a lot, you've been doing the exercise in the lab, you go home, and you already have that solid knowledge and you're ready for the change. Somehow though, you cannot seem to land the idea in your company. Why is that? Because maybe you're lacking the social skills, which is not a bad thing at all. Not everyone has to have those skill sets. And you have finally the fantasist, is someone with the imagination, the vision and the voice. So we have the highly skilled technical person, but lacking totally social skills. So they don't know how to communicate the idea, they don't know how to make it land, they don't know how to make themselves be understood. But you can actually put these people together. Someone that has a certain spectrum of these skill sets. For example, you can have the empathy, the voice, and the imagination, and I can have the understanding of reality and the vision, and together we form a team that can actually drive the change within the company. So you as a developer, either, do you think that you're not a leader? Think again. Maybe do you have the understanding of reality? You probably do, because you are up to date, you're coming to meetups. I expect a lot from you guys. You might have imagination, and you might have vision. Maybe you lack the voice and the empathy. You're not alone. There's a lot of people in the same situation. The good news is though that you can create an alliance with someone within the company, and then you can drive the change within the company. Try it. You don't need to do this shit by yourself. You can look for a partner that can help you out and get some stuff done. Any questions? No? Thank you. No questions. It has stopped raining, you might go home.
Or have a beer.
The lady with the beard. Yes, Mons.
Are you allowed to drink beer at Container Solutions?
Allowed to drink beer?
Yeah, because you said the engineer with beer and coffee.
Ah, yes. We have the beer, we have the good stuff available, and we don't judge, so you can be an alcoholic on Monday morning, and we're not going to say anything about that. Yes. Okay.
You said that you're a consultant, so companies hire your company to do changes in their company. What's the reason they want to change anyway? I mean, probably they're fine where they are, they're selling stuff, they're sort of doing alright, IT is always bad, always lagging behind, so that's nothing unusual. What's the reason that the company, a company like you're working for?
Because there is someone, most of the time someone at the top level, that has an understanding of reality and has the imagination and the vision, but my lack of this. And even so, there's something that I'm not mentioning here that is very specific to the IT world, which is the technical knowledge. So they hire us because someone says, we need to do CI/CD, but we don't really know how to do it. So coming back to this example of this customer that we're working with, they started working in a CI/CD pipeline with programmable infrastructure and with Docker containers. And the problem was that within their infrastructure, whenever they were building there was a new build that was spin up. So there's a new code in a feature branch. It would create production. It would run all the tests, build the container, and after that, talk directly to the Docker daemon, run in production, stop the previous application, start the new application, run some smoke tests, and finish. So somehow they were a little bit right, but they hit a wall. It's like, we're trying to do this stuff with Jenkins and Ansible, and we don't know how to do it. So they hired us as Ansible/Jenkins experts, and we go there to help them with that knowledge because we have it. And then we realize, whoa, actually you guys have a deeper problem that is not related to Ansible or Jenkins. The first one is cultural, because within the company there were people resisting the change, lurking in the dark. They were not actively saying, I don't want the change, fuck you guys. It was more like, yeah, I want change. But in reality, they were holding back feature requests, they were holding back documentation, a lot of stuff. So that was one of the problems. And the other problem was this technical debt that they were building, that the CI/CD pipeline was destroying the current working production environment to create a new one with a new version. So this is because they wanted to create knowledge within the company from the scratch, which is a great thing. Companies that stimulate knowledge building is a good company, but at some point you need the professional help because this was unexplored terrain for them, and their engineers were lacking a little bit the understanding of what is infrastructure and what is the application layer. They mixed it together and it became a mess. So this is where we analyze and say, okay, what do we have here? Oh, your pipeline actually is leaking. Let's take a step back. This is how we can fix it. This is how we can make it better. Does it answer your question?
Yeah.
Actually,
That means that you're a technology consultant and ask for rather specific solutions. It has to involve containers, probably, or Docker.
Is that a question?
Yeah, and also, is it true? So is it the kind of problems your company solves are related to Docker and the CI/CD deployment using Docker containers?
Not necessarily. We work on all things programmable infrastructure / DevOps. So from development workflow, how we can help them, what are you using? Oh, you're using containers? Well, maybe you don't need to use containers, maybe with virtual machines using Vagrant, or maybe creating actual physical machines in DigitalOcean or something real cheap like that. Or, not necessarily has to be Docker containers. I think that our name doesn't do us much good with container solutions because it limits the brand, limits people to think that the brand is only related to container solutions.
Yeah.
But it's more computer solutions. So it's
Okay.
Problem solutions.
problem solutions. How is the thing going on with your partner? We can also help you out with that. That you lost that bill that you got from the belasting list, we can also help you out with that.
That's great.
Anything, bro, just anything.
You know everything.
Pretty much. If we don't know it, we'll fake it till we make it.
Nice.
Any other question? Any other problems that are not related to computers? I'm here to help.
Well, how expensive is it?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends. If you see from a Colombian perspective, this is very expensive. If you see from a Dutch perspective, then not really.
From a startup perspective?
We can talk about that offline.
Offline. That's right here. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Any other questions? You were having problems with your wife the other week. How is that going? Oh shit, we can take that offline. Hey, respect me. I mean,
the continuous delivery, it's a continuous delivery pipeline, if you think of that. Do you really need containers in that continuous delivery pipeline?
not at all. Not at all. Continuous delivery, I think that what is more, if you have never done continuous delivery from within your company, then you should not do containers because containers itself is a project. So you first do the continuous delivery, which it can be maybe if you already know how to do Docker, then probably it's going to be easier to do continuous delivery with containers. But if you don't know Docker, if you don't know container technologies, then it's better to just do the continuous delivery without it. I think that in the long term though, you can benefit from using containers all the way from your development workflow in your laptop, all the way to production. Because then you have a true reproducible environment that is 100% identical to production. And that is the developer's dream.
And how often do you see containers in production as a consultant?
I don't see them. I don't SSH into production, bro.
Sorry?
I don't SSH into production, so I don't see them.
I mean, companies that you work with.
Yeah. So we see. So this customer is now delivering. They do the Docker, the whole container stuff from development all the way to production. And two other customers that I've worked directly with, they are also using containers in production. The one that I'm working currently has a split environment because they're dealing with technical debt. So the project that is further in the process, that one is using containers all the way, and the other environment is not using containers at all. And you can see how more difficult things are to manage without using the containers. it might be that there is something true though about containers, and that is that when you're running them in production, it's a little bit unreliable. So you need a solid infrastructure that whenever a container goes down, another one gets spun up. So there is a need for a scheduler, right? Something that can monitor the state of your containers, and if something is not right, then fix it. Because if you do that manually, then it's a real pain in the ass. Yeah, so that is one of the problems that Docker introduces in production, and that we see very often with our customers, but then they fix it with something like Kubernetes, Swarm, Mesos. No?
No, I
The organizer, any question from the organizers? Step up, Rob. No?
Well done, Carlos.
Thanks.